Well, ladies and gents, we made it to Sorrento. This place is absolutely incredible. We got to actually watch a little bit of the last couple of games on the trip here. It was a bit of a long day today for travel, and that first game was pretty great overall. Apart from I did bench Brimson in the end and sold him in Supercoach, and it was looking okay until that final try. The good thing is, for fantasy, I do own him, and he's, the last few weeks have been pretty good. He's picked up 4 tries in the last 3, and you can normally say when he plays 5/8, when he plays footy in general, that the tries are part of his base, and we're seeing that the last bunch of weeks. The good thing is I'm getting cash gains and an improving player. His tackle numbers were up defensively, with the missed tackles, so much better. Netting 25, 26 points in tackles is absolutely massive for Brimson. And the positive thing here is that he's going to get the half duel next week, and there's a chance that he can be a scoring player in 17s for the next host of weeks, especially once we get to some of the tougher weeks, whether it's Eels in their bye or it's Roosters in round 10. Guys like him are going to be pretty important, I think, in those types of weeks when a lot of us have 3, 4, 5 players. Some guys have from the Roosters, for example, there. So that was a bit of a win. But that second one today with the Broncos and the Roosters, that was absolutely tough viewing. And thank goodness that the Payne Haas ended up in a decent score and they reverted him back heaps of points. And we're going to have to send some emails for this one, guys. We always have a laugh about it if someone doesn't get points. It's a straight email. But even someone like Watson, he ended up down dating, which was rough, especially after in the first 10 minutes, he had a run where he picked up 2 tackle breaks and clear as day. And you look on Supercoach and Dream Team and he's got a couple of tackle breaks there. And then the old dreaded try assist from dummy half. We got one of them. We didn't get the second one, unfortunately. And again, picked up in Supercoach and Dream Team, but not for us in fantasy, which was tough going with him and Siwa Wong and Af White. Yeah, Haas was unders where we've bought him at. So it's pretty rough overall. I think Crichton ended up updating, which was good. But let's get into... We've got all 3 games for this video today, guys, just to roll through with it. And what to say, 7 a.m. for me tomorrow morning will be the Sharkies and the Manly boys, followed by Bunnies Cows. Will be good fun. But Dolphins getting the victory, 30-12 over Panthers. Absolutely incredible scenes. The Panthers have gone 5 in a row. Not on the winning side, on the losing side. So very, very different to what we've seen from them over the last 5-6 years. It's absolutely crazy. So good news for myself is that Isaiah Yo's in my side. A 78 there. Got a 3-minute stint on the bench for some reason. And then I didn't even see someone come off and he was back on the field tackling again. I was like, well, that's beautiful. It was like, oh, damn, he's like really crushing it this game. And this is the type of game we saw from him in the back end of last year, where it was base stats were really high, and you see 68 in pure base here with the couple of offloads that he would have, and other games he'd have a try assist and or a try or something like that in which we saw last year. We saw that last week from him, and a much improved since that really tough score in round 2. He's looking much more like himself, and he's needing to do so much for this side just to keep them in the fight. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to do that in recent history, and they are really floundering at the moment. And both him and Lindsay Smith both had really good games. 68 for Lindsay with 45 tackles, 3 offloads himself, and good run meters. And we've seen him be very up and down. He seems to get close to a 70 and then goes back to the 30-odd type score. Some people are interested in him, and I understand why. You can look at that 55.5 average and see him being a little bit underpriced to that. And you just have to ride the waves with someone like Lindsay. And I think the way he's playing, to be honest, there's a few errors in his game at the moment. I thought we saw a couple of penalties, a couple of inside 10s in a row, which then led to a try. So we've seen some errors from him in good ball, and we've seen a couple of different bits and pieces. So I don't think that he'll make Origin, but yeah, someone that you can have a look at in the midsection. But there's so many that are out there. And the thing with someone like Lindsay is with the round 11 bye, you could easily wait until round 12 to make a decision like that. Hammers 86 was incredible. 3 tries for him. Congrats to the Dolphins for having a cracking game here. 2 turnover tackles as well, just to boot with the try saver. was great going from him, and big run meters of 258 with just the one line break. Averillo had a great game himself, 62, Jeremy Marshall-King 59, and Cleary 53. This is the big news story of the game, that's for sure. 2 goals, the 1 try assist, and of course the was it Bostock that kicked that? What they say? I actually think he put up an Instagram story, having a bit of a laugh about that he's lost his kicking license after kicking it back in field after basically being out. And we didn't get the Cleary try assist for that, so that was rough. The 14 tackles, 1 miss was fine. Run meters were good, as we see. 1 tackle break, 1 offload, a bit off. And kick meters probably down a little bit to what we normally see. But the Dolphins scored plenty of points and had plenty of ball. Cleary's the worry with him is, yes, he's priced in sort of the mid-50s now, down at 745. But with the team struggling a bit, he is probably going to sit on a weekly basis somewhere between a 50 and a 70, unless they can start winning and things are going in the right direction. They're on the front foot. That's when he scores his best. And we saw that with Jaden Campbell this afternoon, that when they're on a bit of a roll, when they score a try and they get that momentum, he starts to do plenty. And if they get some quick play the balls, he's on the back of that running. And we see that with Cleary. Just unfortunate that both Cleary and JC weren't able to go through the gaps, which Cleary tried a bunch of times on sort of 3rd and 4th to sneak through and make a line break there. Wasn't to be. I mentioned to people that he's a great pickup. They continue to lose against average teams, to be fair. Like, Cowboys, Dolphins, these types of squads, they're not the best. But Dolphins on a 2-game winning streak now and looking much better. Farnworth, 50 for him. A line break try assist early. For him to have, we say just the 50, it's a little bit disappointing with the start that he did have. The tackle breaks were much lower and the run meters at 122. So it was spread across the board. Hammer had plenty of the run meters and the work for this Dolphin side, and Averillo down that side as well. So it was less on Herbie's side, which makes sense sometimes. For those who bought Maxi Plath, 50 for him in 56 minutes, and that has been my worry for him, is that playing at 13, we normally have to see him, like last year, get close to that 80 minutes, and he was a jet and a mid-50s guy. He's actually been able to score really well PPM-wise in less minutes, in 56 minutes here. Great to see him still score a 50 and hit where basically close to where he's priced at. And when we compare, again, 50-plus scores to 48, you've got a bunch here in the high 40s. High 40s scores all the way up to 86 here at Hammer, compared to that Broncos game. Again, as people say, a poo-slinger was that one for fantasy points. But Plath did the job there with 50. Isaiah Katoa, someone that people were talking about and some people bought actually, and he picked up 48 with a try assist. Decent across the board. Lower run meters to 61 compared to his 190 last week. But again, great to see him score across the board in multitude of ways. Lem looked really good for his 41 minutes, so great to see him back playing well. Dylan Edwards worked himself to a 47 in the end, working hard in that second half especially. 245 run meters, 9 tackle breaks. Good to see him back, and it's well needed. Oh man, this Casey McLean dude, he is absolutely killing us. Why is he the centre after Jenkins played so well a couple of weeks ago? It's absolutely killing me. And the sad thing about all this is people were excited when Brian To'o not got injured, but they're like, oh, well, Jenkins is locked in the side. He wasn't locked in the side before To'o got injured, and he was playing centre, and we wanted him to play centre. And now with Casey McLean returning, it put things up in the air and changed things. And unfortunately, Casey's playing centre and just not giving Jenko any ball. The good thing with Jenko is he's an offloader, as we've seen go across the few weeks. And your offloader should probably be the centre. Just saying. So Brian To'o can't come back soon enough for Jenko in this one, picking up that 30. We'll speak about him while we're here. I think he did really well in the circumstances. He got 2 line breaks. He picked up an offload, 1 tackle break, 186 run meters there. He did a lot of what he could in a game where they lost, and he is not getting any ball. So he should be averaging, across including that one fullback game, he should be in the 40s clearly with, if Casey wasn't there. So that was frustrating. Definitely as a Jenko owner, Saifidi, 39. Kerr Henry. Blaze Talangi, 37. He had a pretty rough game as well, to be honest. Tom Gilbert, 36. Will we see Jack Cole back? Probably. Yeah. Tom Gilbert, 36 in 55. He had a HIA, and they end up using him, using that time off to give him 25 minutes, which I don't know if it'll happen regularly, but I'm very glad to have sold him last week. And Finn had 33 points for 57 minutes, which is a bit annoying for him. Keep an eye on him. If things change, he's going to be a really fun price. And speaking of a good price, Isaac Tungo, averaging 26.5 for the year after just being an absolute jet 2 years ago. He's just gone down the toilet, unfortunately. Bostock, 23. Keep an eye on him now. He's gone to a 27.5 average, so getting much cheaper. And Liam Martin not having a great game himself. Alamotti, 11. With the sin bin in this one. So, yeah, since we mentioned him as a potential buy, he's gone absolutely backwards. All right, can we just get the bad one out of the way? I just want to get my thoughts out on the table very, very quickly. And you can see here, 5 players, 50 and above, a couple of high 40s there. So 7 in total. And, one of those guys, very much not fantasy relevant in Jaden Hunt there. Picked up 49 points with a line break and did really well, to be honest with you there. But Payne Haas, 58, 6 tackle breaks in the end. They dropped off a couple. He's just not offloading anymore. He had an offload to ground, 1 to hand. Just not great. Big minutes in this one. Didn't help them get the win. And shout out to the Roosters for a great win here. But since we bought him, he's gone 67 into a 42 into a 58. So for him to be averaging 73 with those 3 scores just shows exactly what was feared by us buyers. And what's killing me the most is just the people that didn't buy him are just gloating so hard, and it kills because, I definitely didn't expect him to go this low because he's sitting in sort of the high 50s. He is a mid 60s guy, and for him to not have that average across the last 3 weeks is very, very troubling. But this 2 weeks for Broncos games has been so poor fantasy scoring wise. And you can see here in this one as well, he got 58 playing 68 minutes. And Carrigan got 54 minutes, did well himself, but we know that when he's going to play lower minutes, his PPM will increase dramatically. But just the gloating from people when they don't select someone, or it's like, oh, I sold him last week, and then he gets a head knock or like something like that. It grinds the gears, but we can't be upset. We're on holidays. That's how it works. Payne Haas, 58. Surely there's a big game coming, but looks like he's put the offload away. The meters gain are down, and maybe it's just because he's not playing Cowboys every week. A great win from Roosters, with Nat Butcher leading the way with the try, 56 for him, 54 for Teddy. Just a great Rooster to have in your side. Most likely won't be playing Origin again. Like he's probably second in line still, but he's a great purchase if you don't have too many Roosters. Crichton in the end picked up a try saver and turnover tackle, so that was good for him in that one, and picked up a try and line break. And just overall, guys, the stats in this game were so low. I think they're really off, unfortunately, from a few perspectives there. One being Watson, but also at halftime, the ball was in play for 21 minutes out of 40, so it was pretty gross, and it didn't improve too much in the second. Probably just a slight amount there, but Billy Smith picked up 2 tries for 48. He was really good, even with a sin bin. So he won't leave this side. But the question is going to be, how does Nwangi Tawaze get back into this side? Is it going to be through Dom Young on the wing? And look, if Nwangi Tawaze is on that side, I think that's fun for Rob Toya, who unfortunately had a low one in this one. And I had 4 players, Haas being one of them, Watson, Wong, and Rob Toya, and leaving Brimson on the pine hurts there. I decided to play, I was like, I'm traveling. I don't really want to have anxiety watching Brimson the whole time. And he's needed tries to get an okay score. And I was like, we'll just go with Ayongi. In the heat there, I think guys like that, outside back, should be fun. That was the play. Didn't work out so much, but to have guys like Toya and then the other 30s in the side with Brimson sitting there on 59 made it pretty tough. But Reece Walsh, 42 in this one. Picked up a try saver as well, along with the try and the try assist. So he's just, struggling to get points. Actually, he's, highest or second highest score of the year. So Priced at, at the 488 mark, he improved on where he's priced at right now, which is good. But Shibasaki with his 40 in there, with a line break, 3 turnover tackles to get him up there. So yeah, I'd played him in Supercoach, and I saw that he had, with the line break, he was on like 30. I was like, I wonder how that works there. But yeah, it must have been a lot of turnover tackles, and it was. He's someone that you can hold another week now. There, you've got that 40 out of him. Walters there, still 27 minutes. Corey Pake's 35. Walters actually beat him in a third of the time, which was interesting. But Corey still holding on to him. Some people mentioned potentially buying. I don't think that's the play. But Sandon Smith here, 33 with a try assist, the 5 goals. But unfortunately for him, it's the negative 18 in this one with 4 errors. And he telegraphs that pass so much. The amount of times that we've seen in the last few weeks that he's just passed it straight to the opposition for a runaway try. And I thanked him for the JC one. But 33 here. If you played him, not too bad at all. You outdid Watson with the try assist, which is just gross. 29 tackles in this one. Shows how much the ball was not in play, or it was sent side to side. 29 tackles, that's so tough. Hugo Savala, just wanted to shout out his kicking game and picked up a 33 in this one. He levels out his break even a little bit, and with the win now, there's very, very low chance that he leaves his side anytime soon, I think. So congrats to them for the win, and for him in his first game as a starter there to get that job done. It was awesome, and big kick meters of 478 with Sandon picking up 157. A good guy to look at over the next few weeks. Watson 32, as I said, with the try assist is gross. He had negative 10, but just the base stats were so bad throughout this game, and as I said, we're probably missing a couple of tackle breaks, and that try assist would be great. Would put him to like 43, and here was us complaining about 47 last week. 32, I've had enough of it. Move on. Nafahu White, 30 for him in 52. 14 tackles is wild. So when he was on the park, they basically had the ball the whole time. He still ran plenty, but he actually worked pretty hard in the second stint because he was on 7 in his first effort. So picked up close to a point a minute in the second one. Siwa Wong, after a lot of people bought him, delivered a beautiful 29. So I'm so glad personally that I've got his 80 in the bank from last week and the good cash rise. The 29 really slows him down, and he just had errors in his game in this one. Unfortunately, a penalty, a couple of errors, 4 missed tackles to put him neg 14 there was pretty rough. Unfortunately there, and hopefully it's a big bounce back game from a lot of these players next week, especially Watson. Otherwise, we'll have to consider selling him even earlier than we may have thought in round 10. Rob Toya, 27 for him, 19 tackles, the 84 run meters. The base is still there, but just as we were saying there, the ball not in play enough, and that really hurt guys like him. What about Spencer Lenu playing 28 minutes? Very, very low. And then Dom Young, a few errors in his game still, not being able to get involved as much, but they picked up that early line break with Rob Toya helping him out there. He's just not doing it so far, but they're also not helping him out or the team out on that right-hand side as much as we would have hoped. Now let's look to the best game of the round so far, fantasy points-wise. Look at this, 50s for days with some really high scores with 4 games. 4 players, 60+, 2 in the 70s, 1 in the 90s. And shout out to anyone that I mentioned that we could wait another week on Fafita. He did end up getting moved to the starting side with poor Bowie getting moved to the centers for fun. And Fafita absolutely dominating this one. He had that really, really big run where the ball bounced back into his arms, and he got plenty of meters, plenty of tackle breaks, and the offload there to then give it to Bo to get that try assist. But 94 for him, and looked like he was back in action here to get 206 run meters. He scored early. He got that try assist with the offload early. He ran the ball 5 times last week, so great to see him back in action, and he becomes someone that you need to look at in your sides. And that 94, his break even wasn't that high, but he won't go up too much given his price has been going down and down the last bunch of weeks. So keep him in your thoughts over the next few. Speaking of people to keep in your thoughts, Jaden Campbell is 77 for him in the 80 minutes with 10 tackle breaks himself, good kick meters, great tackling, 22 for 1, and just a bit across the board. A bunch of times he could have almost gone through for a line break. Didn't happen. But when you have 24 in tackle breaks and offloads and you're a kicker of the footy, you are going to score pretty well. At the moment, the kick meters at 506 is Jamal Fogarty level. The tackle numbers are that. But Jamal doesn't have this game. So that's where Campbell's the winner. Guys like Fogarty are awesome. But Campbell, even in a poor team, can still get 77, which is just incredible. Speaking of 76ers, Dylan Egan, hopefully he's all good. It sounds like it might be hyperextension of the elbow. If that's the case, NRL Physio says he should be okay for next week. What an incredible player. He was going to go the full 80, played 79 there. With the try, with the line break assist, offload early, made 47 tackles, 122 run meters. Just incredible efforts out there. And hopefully you bought him at minimum, and hopefully you did play him. He as soon as I saw him in the starting side, he moved straight into mine, which was good. Okay, in terms of trade this week, some of you may not have known where I did end up leaning, and I thankfully did lean to Couchman. So as much as that last game yesterday was really, really frustrating, to bring in Dylan Egan and Toby Couchman, play them both, get a 76 and a 68 out of them, absolutely incredible. The knee for Toby was very scary early. I had all the guys in the chat then he's gone, he's done his knee, he's holding his knee, looks cooked. He did. Boys showed me the video before I could get on the train and watch the rest of that game. Just the mechanism wasn't great. Just knocked it. He must have some instability or something going on weird there. He did end up playing the 51 minutes, but he also went massive last week with 69. And the fact that they were winning pretty comfortably as well, he didn't need to come back on until I think Tuipulotu came off and he snuck back on. But his PPM is absolutely incredible. 4 offloads in the end. It's great to see that being a part of his game the last 2 weeks, getting 4 offloads, three offloads last week and 4 this week. Tackle numbers are always spectacular for him. Just the one miss there, 39 made in 51 minutes is incredible. And good run meters as well. Still hasn't got his try, but do we need it with this PPM? Probably not. And Brimson, we spoke about getting that line break try late in the game, but for him it was tackles this week and turnover tackles. He had 43 in tackles and turnovers. Absolutely incredible. And that won't happen every week, those type of numbers, but he'll also have attacking stats and didn't really kick the footy in this one. 29, of course he did. But 59 points for him. He makes some cash this week, just like Yongi did last week, and we go from there. Not a heap of other relevant guys in this game, thankfully, for me to be able to head to bed soon. But I'm excited to see the scores and see how things go today's games for you guys. We got Val Holmes 54, had a really good game as well there with a try assist and a try. Tuipulotu with a hamstring injury, so if you do own him, the 48 was good until the injury came along. Big Sully with a 57 in there as well. Cook's 43, Sloan's 41, Randall, Flanagan, Ilias had really solid games to obviously get them the win. Gutho 32 after that really good game, and of course I captained him in Supercoach the wrong week. Captain Haas the wrong week. Shock horror. Beaufort Moore 30 for him with the try assist. Just him getting a bath, unfortunately, in the centres. I'm sure he really wants to go back to the edge, and I'm sure he wants his team to go better as well. But can Fafita lose his spot now in that edge? On that edge, I don't think so. But Bowie should definitely get his spot back. 30 for him, tough going for owners, and hopefully next week's the play when they've got all their outside backs. But as soon as they get one injury, unfortunately, 2 with AKP gone, he unfortunately just goes straight out to that centre position there. Jacob Little, let's get him cheap. Leilua, 43 minutes for him. If Dylan Egan is fit, he is the guy from now on. And probably expected, he's getting older. Yeah, it's just going to be how it is when the young buck comes through. Dylan, what a gangster. Hamish Stewart, 21 in 36 minutes. A bit frustrating with the missed tackles for him, but it can happen sometimes. Unless you're Egan, Couchman, they just don't let that happen. But we'll leave it there, guys, for this video. The 3 games done and dusted for Thursday and Friday night. Enjoy this morning, and I hope the games are kind to you this afternoon for Fantasy and for Supercoach, and your ranks go in the right direction. See you guys. Have a good one.